helped one of my students run away from home and lost my marriage over it. I started noticing one of my students, Kelsey, was always wearing hoodies even when it was hot outside. I asked her about it one day after class and she said she just liked hoodies. But then I saw the bruises. Every time I asked her about them, she had some excuse ready, but I could tell something was wrong. My husband, Steven, is the assistant principal, so I pulled him aside after school. We need to do something about this. He rolled his eyes. I'll file a report, but you need to stay out of it after that. You know that getting involved in a student's home life can cost us both our jobs. I trusted him to handle it, but then 2 weeks went by and nothing changed. I asked him what happened with the report and he just shrugged. The family got interviewed and everything's fine. Drop it. The bruises got way worse. Kelsey came to class one day in November and winced in pain every time she moved. After class, I said, "Kelsey, what happened?" She pulled up the back of her shirt and I almost threw up. Her whole back was covered in red welts like someone beat her with a belt. I took a picture and ran straight to Steven's office. I shoved my phone in his face. "Call someone right now." He looked at the picture and closed the door. "Look, her parents are respected people in this town. If you keep pushing this, they could sue us." I stared at him. "Are you serious right now? You're worried about a lawsuit?" I stormed out of his office and called the hotline myself. A caseworker showed up at school a week later and pulled Kelsey out of class. I thought finally something would happen, but the caseworker said, "There's not enough proof and the family denies it all." Kelsey stopped looking at me after that. Steven said, "See, you made it worse. They probably punished her because you got involved." I wanted to scream, but I stayed quiet. 2 weeks later, Kelsey stopped showing up to school. I asked the attendance office where she went and they said, "Her parents are homeschooling her now." My hands started shaking because I knew what that meant. They were hiding her. There was banging on my front door at midnight in early December. I opened the door and Kelsey was standing there with a backpack and blood on her lip. "Please, I can't go back. He told me he's going to kill me this time and I believe him." I pulled her inside and locked the door. When Steven came downstairs and saw her sitting on our couch, he grabbed my arm and pulled me into the kitchen. "We need to call the police right now. This is insane." I yanked my arm away. "No, they won't do anything. She's staying here until I figure something out." His face went red. "You're going to get us both arrested." I looked at Kelsey through the doorway. "I don't care." I set her up in the guest room and told her she was safe here. For 3 days, I hid her in our house while I searched online for any option that could help. I found her aunt in another state who had been trying to get custody for 2 years but couldn't afford a lawyer. I called her and she started crying. "If you can get her here, I promise that I'll take care of her." Steven figured out what I was planning and cornered me in the kitchen while Kelsey was still asleep. "If you put that girl on a bus, I'm calling the cops myself. You're committing a felony and I'm not going down with you." "You would really do that?" He crossed his arms. "Take her back to her parents right now or I'm making the call." I stared at him and realized I was looking at a complete stranger. I bought Kelsey a bus ticket that night and snuck out at 5 in the morning to drive her to the station. Her aunt was waiting at the other end of the line. Steven called the cops and I got investigated for 3 months. I helped the aunt hire a lawyer and she won custody, so the charges against me got dropped. Steven filed for divorce the same week the investigation ended, and I happily signed the divorce papers. Now Kelsey is in college studying to be a social worker. Last week she sent me a message that said, "I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you." I mean that.